Hey everybody, it's Emily, the Crazy Worm Lady. As promised, it's a VermiBag update, and that watermelon seemed to do the trick. Look at all those worms in that window. It's really, really awesome. So I'm really excited to get up top and see how things are coming along. Okay guys, so I pulled back a little bit of these various bedding sources I have in here. You'll see a lot of springtails and all of that, but the worms are pretty well spread out too. And everybody seems to live harmoniously together, so I just don't let it bother me a whole lot anymore. I was wondering where all the worms went, but we definitely enticed them up with the addition of that watermelon. I was really starting to think, like, where in the world did all those worms that I added go? But they are back. They must have dug deep or something. But if you recall, we pretty much fed throughout this entire bin last week. I was trying to get the level up and get activity going, and it seems to be working just fine. So let me move some of this bedding. You can hear again it's getting a little bit dry. I don't see a whole lot of worms over here just yet, but the castings are looking nice. Really nice, actually. Nice and flaky. And there are some worms, but again, I don't want to dig too deep. You know, this is a continuous flow through. It kind of defeats the purpose if I am constantly digging too deep, because it won't compact at the bottom and give you the type of castings you'd like to see. But you know, there's bedding here and there, but all in all, it looks like they've demolished the feeding from last week. I'm gonna dig just a hair more in the middle here. But yeah, no, I'm not seeing much of anything. So I'm gonna go get a little something together to feed these guys. And I thought we would just peek at the zipper area. A couple people have asked about it, so I thought I would show you guys what it's looking like. Found another ball right as I was about to go grab food for these guys. It was right below the window, I guess, where the level had fallen. And this is just nothing but worms all over. Awesome. Okay, so I pushed all of our like whole pieces of bedding, the cardboard, up here to the side. And I'm gonna now put some shredded newspapers that I have in here. I'm going to be pretty generous with it just because it's getting pretty full in here. And I just want to be careful that we maintain the appropriate moisture level. As you guys know, I've had a little bit of trouble with it being on the drier side at the top, but I'm a little concerned. I don't know what it's like in the bottom, so when in doubt, I always just err on the side of a little bit too much bedding, because it's kind of hard to add too much. There's no such thing. So I'm going to give a quick sprinkle here with some eggshell. I'm going to be kind of generous with it today because all those springtails, I want to make sure we have a good pH in here. So I feel like that you can also never really have enough. So let's get some food in here. Okay, a worm favorite around here is this soup stock that we make fairly regularly, and it's very wet too, and in this bin it's actually one I'm not worried about too much moisture. So I'm gonna load this up in the front here as much as I can, and again, we know that the level will fall. We are above the window right now, but we know it will fall. Let me get this bag out of here. And I'm going to top it off with a little bit more of the shredded newspaper, and then we will top the whole thing off with our dry bedding. or dry-ish bedding. I think that's almost good. Yeah, I think that should be pretty good. And then I'm just going to pull this drier stuff up over the top, kind of spread it out. And hopefully that can hold in some of the moisture for us. And again, what I've been doing is when I'm finished feeding all of my bins, I usually feed all my bins and film my updates for you guys only once a week. But when I'm done feeding, I pour some of that extra liquid over the top here. And that's been working the last few weeks to at least keep it a little bit more manageable for me. But I'm going to drop down to the bottom now and show you what the zipper section of this looks like. Okay, so here's what the window looks like now. All of that food that I just put in is actually above the level of the window, but since the food usually falls, I still think it should be okay. But I did want to take you guys down below here to our zippered section, and I've honestly not opened this since I set up the bin. So I don't know what it looks like, and I can't seem to locate the zipper. Oh, it's over here. You get a nice close-up of my arm while I get to unzip this. So I've seen Tom post updates on his bags, and sometimes he gets worms that actually crawl up and around the zipper compartment, but I don't seem to be having that problem. I'm afraid. Let me get a light down here a little bit further so we can look carefully. Okay guys, so I pulled this back, and the castings are up here, but I'm not having any worms in between my zipper protective area and the actual closed up zipper. Some of these castings actually fell out when I opened the bottom here. They feel a little wet, but not terrible. So I'm anxious to see when it comes time to harvest, which I think will be sooner rather than later, what the nature is of how this compost turns out in comparison to my urban worm bag. So I just wanted to show you guys this. I'm sorry for the poor videoing. It's a little bit tricky with the lighting and all, but hopefully that gave you guys an idea of what's going on. So let me know what you think. Drop those comments below. Like this video, subscribe if you'd like some more content from me, and I will be back with you guys real soon for another update.